guys, it's Jonathan here from GuitarTipsWeekly.com. Head on over and check it out. You can enter your name and email address and I'll send you a free guitar lesson like this one every week. You can learn a lot and it's tons of fun. Today we're going to talk about standard guitar tuning. Now there are literally hundreds of different ways to tune your guitar. Standard guitar tuning, as the name implies, is the most standard, the most common, and kind of like the default tuning, I guess you could say. If you walk in any guitar store, grab a guitar off the rack, chances are extremely high that you're going to find it tuned to standard tuning. So what is standard tuning? Well, we've got 6 strings here. Ironically, when we say the names of the strings, the note names of each string, we start from the 6th string. But if we're talking about string numbers, then we start from the 1st string. So that's something to wrap your mind around. Basically, string numbers here, we've got 1. 1 is the string closest to the floor. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it goes from floor to your face, 1 through 6. Now, string names. Now, this is the really important part to get, okay? Because each of these strings is tuned to a specific tone, or specific pitch. And, for instance, the 6th string here is an E. Now, everything on the rest of the guitar flows from that point. If this string is in tune to an E, then, assuming your guitar is set up correctly, then if you go up here to the 5th fret, you get an A, right? If you don't have the E in tune, then the A is not going to be in tune. Everything's going to be out of tune. It's going to sound terrible. So it's important to get these strings all in tune to the correct pitches. And so we got E on the 6th string, then A on the 5th string, D on the 4th string, G on the 3rd string, B on the 2nd string, and then we have another E. Here those are the same sound, right? Now those happen to be 2 octaves apart between those 2 E's. So if you play an E here, or sorry, an A, the 5th fret, you've got another A, 2 octaves apart on the 5th fret of the 1st string. Anyways, we're not going to go there at the moment. But so there's a few different ways to remember this E, A, D, G, B, and E. Through, you know, using it thousands of times, I just remember E, A, D, G, B, E. However, some people have a hard time kind of getting that sequence in their head, and so there's some acronyms that some people like using. For instance, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. It's kind of a fun one, right? But you get your acronyms: Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Or eat a dog, get big ears. Or eat all day, get big easy, right? So for some reason, the ones that I remember have to do with eating, but I do like eating. It's lots of fun. But there are many other acronyms, and you know, you can always do a Google search for EADGBE acronyms, and I'm sure that you'll find something that will stick in your mind if you're having troubles with that. So E, A, D, G, B, and E. Really important, because if you're going to tune a guitar and you don't know what each string needs to be, then you're kind of hooped, right? So I got another video on, you know, how to tune your guitar, so you can look that up on GuitarTipsWeekly.com if you're unsure. But with a digital tuner, it's pretty easy these days. So really briefly here, I want to just get into, I do have another video that you can find at GuitarTipsWeekly.com that talks more in depth about the tones and semitones. But just to give you an example here, if you have an E here, everything else flows from that point on your fretboard, okay? So you have an E and then F. Each fret here is equivalent to 1 semitone. So as we go up from E, we get F, F sharp on the 2nd fret, G, G sharp, A, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. Now all the sharps have their equivalent flat. For instance, D sharp, it's like raising a D, is equivalent. It's the same sound as an E flat. Okay, it's like lowering an E. And the other thing to keep in mind is that between E and F, and between B and C, is a natural semitone. We don't go to E sharp, we go straight to F. Okay, so that's tones and semitones in a really small nutshell. If you're not familiar with that, it's an incredibly important topic to understand, and you can, as I mentioned, you can find more on my site there. But there you have it, standard tuning. There's many other ways to tune your guitar. You could go to E flat, for instance, where you basically take standard tuning and then drop all the strings by one semitone. So you get like E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat again. That's a popular tuning. You know, a lot of the older blues bands used that because they had a lot of horns playing along with them, and the horns needed that semitone difference in order to be able to play along easily in keys that worked well for them. Then you got your open tunings, like a DAD-GAD tuning, for instance, D-A-D, G-A-D. There are literally hundreds of different tunings, and it's the strange thing about that is it literally changes everything, all the fingerings on your guitar. So that's requires almost relearning your guitar with every new tuning that you use. But in general, if you walk into a guitar store, you're probably going to find that if you grab any guitar off the shelf, it's going to be tuned to standard tuning, which is this one right here, E, A, D, G, B, and E. So I hope you learned something there. It's Jonathan here from Guitar Tips Weekly. We'll see you again next time.